Imagine the smell. Salt water, decay, and something else. Obsession. The scene is a cramped apartment, floor to ceiling with maps crisscrossed in red ink. Books on ancient symbols are stacked like pillars, threatening to collapse. In the center of it all, we find not a scholar, but a victim. We see financial records, a life savings drained. We find letters family members begging him to stop. He was searching for Mu, a paradise promised to him by a story. But the only thing he discovered was ruin. What you're about to see isn't the story of a lost continent. It's the story of a lie, a masterfully crafted deception that has been swallowing lives for over a century. And the most disturbing part, the evidence of the deception has been hiding in plain sight all along. And now please stop the video and subscribe to our channel. To be able to keep making videos like this, we need to reach 1,000 subscribers as soon as possible. Thank you. So how does a person end up in a ruined apartment? Financially and spiritually broken, chasing a ghost. It begins not with a map, but with a story. A story so powerful, so beautiful, it promises to answer every question humanity has ever asked. Picture it. A vast continent basking in a gentle Pacific sun called Mu. The air is warm, thick with the scent of flowers that no longer exist. The cities aren't made of cold stone, but of materials that seem to hum with a quiet energy. Its people aren't our ancestors in the brutish sense. They are an elder race, spiritually and technologically advanced beyond our wildest dreams. This is the motherland, the great source from which all civilization supposedly sprang. The legend says it was from Mu that the first colonists went out, carrying the sacred knowledge that would build the pyramids of Egypt and the temples of the Maya. All the world's mysteries solved with one elegant answer. It's a perfect, pristine origin story. It's clean, it's simple, it's a little too perfect. You see, the allure of a utopia is that it erases all the messy, complicated parts of our history. It gives us a noble beginning. But we've learned that when a story sounds too good to be true, it's because someone is trying to sell you something. It is a perfect story, a beautiful cradle for all of humanity. But what if the cradle was never real? And what if the story was designed to hide something far more sinister? To build a lie that can infect the entire world, you don't start with fiction. You start with a fact. You find a crack in the official story, a question that science itself is asking. And in 1864, the scientific world had a very strange question on its hands. It was the lemur problem. Zoologist Philip Sclater, a respected figure at the Zoological Society of London, was staring at an impossible map. He saw fossils of lemurs, small, nocturnal primates in Madagascar, and then again, thousands of miles away in India. But there were none in between. Not in Africa, not in the Middle East. It made no sense. How could these creatures have crossed a vast ocean? To solve the puzzle, Sclater proposed a radical, yet elegant, solution. A lost landmass. A sunken continent, or a series of land bridges that once connected the 2 points. He gave this ghost continent a name, Lemuria. For a time, it was a perfectly respectable scientific hypothesis. But then, in the 20th century, a new theory emerged, one that literally shifted the ground beneath our feet. Plate tectonics. The continents themselves moved. India had once been attached to the same landmass as Madagascar. The lemur puzzle was solved. The official explanation was neat, tidy, and it completely erased Lemuria from the map and from the textbooks. Science had its answer. The file was closed, but we found records showing that others were watching, and they saw an opportunity. They took a discarded theory and decided to build a new reality upon it. If science discarded the idea of a lost continent, who picked it up? To build a new reality, you need an architect. Enter James Churchward. He wasn't a scientist. He was a retired British colonel with a story that would put any adventurer to shame. According to Churchward himself, while serving in India in the late 19th century, he befriended a high-ranking temple priest. This priest, after much persuasion, revealed a set of hidden ancient clay tablets written in a forgotten language. They were the Naakal tablets. For 2 years, Churchward claimed, he and the priest painstakingly translated these texts, and they revealed a history that would rewrite everything we know. The complete story of a magnificent motherland, a lost continent in the Pacific called Mu. It's a dramatic, compelling tale of hidden knowledge and forbidden history. There's just one problem: the tablets. The entire foundation of Mu, the one and only primary source for its existence, rests on these physical objects. Where is this evidence? We searched the archives, we spoke to experts. The answer is always the same: they don't exist. No one, besides James Churchward, has ever seen them. No museum holds them. No photograph of them has ever been produced. So what did Churchward really see? The evidence points to an unavoidable and disturbing conclusion. He saw nothing. His work wasn't a discovery, it was a creation. He wasn't translating history. He was writing a novel and presenting it to the world as fact. He forged a motherland from ink and imagination. And while he was crafting a place, a far more powerful movement was about to take his ideas and forge a new religion. While Churchward was busy inventing a paradise, another, far more shadowy figure had already laid claim to the territory of lost continents. Her name was Helena Blavatsky, a Russian mystic and the co-founder of the Theosophical Society. In 1888, she published her magnum opus, a colossal work of occult cosmology called The Secret Doctrine. And within its pages, the scientific theory of Lemuria was twisted into something unrecognizable, something monstrous. Blavatsky's Lemurians were not noble ancestors living in shimmering cities. They were the third root race. Forget everything you imagined. She described them as giants, some reaching 18 feet tall, with soft, pliable, gelatinous bodies. They were mindless, possessing no intellect, guided only by instinct. They had 4 arms, and, in a detail of pure biological horror, they had a third eye, not in their forehead, but in the back of their head. A vestigial organ that allowed them to see without physical sight. This isn't a utopian dream. It's a physiological nightmare. This is the hidden truth behind the romantic myth. The cradle of humanity was, according to this new dogma, filled with monsters. You might think this is just strange, harmless fantasy. But it gets worse. This wasn't just a story. It was a doctrine, and it would lay the groundwork for some of the most dangerous ideologies of the 20th century. The most dangerous ideologies need a physical anchor. They need a holy land, a place on a map you can point to. So, while the mystics were dreaming up monstrous races, the true believers went looking for proof. For decades, they stared at the vast, empty blue of the Pacific and Indian Oceans, convinced that a secret lay just beneath the surface. But in the 20th century, we developed the ability to see in the dark. Multibeam sonar, satellite altimetry technologies that peeled back the water and mapped the ocean floor with stunning precision. We have better maps of the seafloor now than we do of parts of our own land. And in the exact locations where Lemuria and Mu were said to be, we found nothing. No broken cities, no submerged mountains, no hint of a lost world. Just the crushing, empty reality of the abyssal plain. But what about the strange structures people claim to have found? Let's talk about the Yonaguni Monument. Discovered in 1986 off the coast of Japan, it's the smoking gun for many believers. It looks like a sunken pyramid, with terraces, sharp 90-degree angles, and what appear to be carved steps. It's tantalizing. It feels real. But look closer. Geologists who have studied the site have reached a firm, unambiguous consensus. It's sandstone, a rock type that naturally fractures along straight plains when subjected to tectonic stress. It's an incredible, awe-inspiring natural formation. But it is not a city. Every piece of supposed evidence has crumbled under scrutiny. And that is the final, shocking reveal. The true secret isn't that a continent is being hidden from you. The secret is that there is nothing there to hide. The conspiracy is the story itself. So, if there is no proof, no evidence, nothing at the bottom of the ocean, Why are so many people still looking? What are they truly searching for in that darkness? That desperate search in the darkness is fueled by a very real human desire. The hope that there is more to our world than we can see, a lost history waiting to be found. But the tragedy is that while millions were chasing a fabrication, science was quietly uncovering a real lost world. One more vast and incredible than any myth. They were just looking in the wrong place. We've been taught there are 7 continents, but we were wrong. There is an 8th. It's called Zealandia. For decades, it was a ghost in the data, a whisper in the geological record. Scientists dredged rocks from the seafloor that shouldn't have been there. Granite and schist, the stuff of continents, not ocean crust. They used satellite gravity data to map the subtle pull of this immense, hidden structure. They drilled core samples, pulling up ancient pollen and fossils from a world that was once above the waves. And the numbers that emerged are staggering. Zealandia is a continent of 1.89 million square miles, nearly half the size of Australia. And the reason you've never seen it is that today, 94% of it is submerged beneath the Pacific Ocean. Think about that. Decades of painstaking work, thousands of scientists, and mountains of verifiable data were required to prove its existence. It was a discovery built on rigor, on evidence, on facts. This is how you find a real lost continent. You don't need secret tablets or mystical visions. You need proof. You need to meet the strict geological criteria. A thick continental crust, a clear elevation above the ocean floor, a specific rock composition. Zealandia meets every single one. The fantasy of Mu meets none. Science has shown us a true sunken world, a testament to the epic, violent, and beautiful story of our planet. So if the truth is this incredible, why do so many still choose to believe the lie? The answer to why people choose a lie over a beautiful truth is that belief isn't always a choice. It's a capture. The promise of Zealandia is a scientific fact. It offers knowledge. The promise of Mu is a key to unlocking your own divinity. And that promise is a perfect weapon for predators. Across the world, in small, isolated groups, this weapon is being used every day. Charismatic leaders build entire worlds around these lost continents, promising their followers a direct bloodline to the enlightened ancients. They sell a feeling of superiority, of being one of the few who knows the real truth. All it costs is everything you have. Your savings are just material attachments. Your family, who begs you to see reason, are just unenlightened souls trying to hold you back. We spoke to a woman whose father is still lost in that world. She described the change in his eyes, the way they would light up talking about Mu, but go cold and empty when she talked about her own life. It's a slow-motion hijacking of the soul. The techniques are classic psychological warfare, refined to a terrifying art. It begins with love bombing, a deluge of affection and acceptance that makes the recruit feel seen for the first time. Then comes the isolation, creating an us versus them mentality where the outside world is a threat. Finally, the slow, methodical erosion of identity, where your own memories, your own doubts, are framed as spiritual weakness. They hollow you out and fill the void with the myth. It is a form of psychological destruction, leaving behind a husk of a person, animated only by a story that was designed from the very beginning to consume them. Is this pattern of deception unique to these myths? Or is it a fundamental flaw in human nature, a blueprint for control that has been used again and again throughout history? That pattern of control isn't an accident. It's a blueprint, a formula for deception that was perfected by the architects of these phantom worlds. And it's so effective that it's still being used to manipulate us today. It always works the same way. Step 1. Start with a seed of truth. You take a legitimate scientific debate, a discarded theory like Sclater's Lemuria, and you co-opt its language. You give your lie the authority and weight of science. Step 2. Invent an unimpeachable secret source. For Churchward, it was the Nayakal tablets, a source no one could check because no one else could see them. It makes you the sole gatekeeper of the truth. Step 3. Frame your story as forbidden knowledge. You aren't just telling a tale, you are revealing a suppressed reality, and those who believe you are now part of an enlightened elite. This playbook is everywhere. You can hear its echoes in every modern conspiracy theory, from online gurus citing hidden data to anonymous message board posts from so-called insiders. It's the same psychological trap, just repackaged for a new generation. And at its heart, this has never been about continents or ancient races. It's about power. It is a timeless and unforgivable abuse of intellectual and spiritual authority, where a charismatic figure demands that you abandon your own reason and place your faith entirely in them. It's the ultimate heist, the theft of a person's own reality. The story of Mu is a warning. It shows us that the most dangerous lies are the ones that tell us exactly what we want to hear. So, what is the final, sunken truth? After all the lies, the manipulations, and the broken lives, what have we found? Perhaps the truth is that we were searching for the wrong thing all along. The quest for Lemuria and Mu was never really about land or history. It was about us. It was about a profound and deeply human hunger for meaning, a need for a perfect origin story, for a paradise lost, for the comforting idea that we are descended from something greater than ourselves. That hunger is in all of us, and that is the real hidden secret, not a continent, but a vulnerability. The true abyss isn't at the bottom of the ocean. It's the empty space that our own longing creates, a space that charismatic storytellers and predators will always rush to fill. Narrator turns to face the camera directly. So, the continents were never there. But the story? The story is very real. It has shaped lives and shattered them. The question you should ask is not what lies at the bottom of the ocean, but how many other stories are we told that, if we looked closely, have nothing underneath?